Hello, everyone. Sorry, I was still getting my desktop set up. I was not quite ready for streaming, but I got distracted. Work stuff gets me. Um, but yes, I'm excited to come back. It's been, I don't know, a few days since I've streamed, and I've been working on some of the fun stuff for Maui and working on some of the graphics controls. I actually worked pretty late on this stuff last night, and today I'm excited to get working on it some more and figured you guys might want to join in. Especially since I'm trying to make some difficult architecture decisions. So there's definitely going to be some architecture decisions today on how some of these things work. And also, I'm going to work on the graphics controls from Javier's repo. Definitely try and get some of those in. But I'm trying to get just the framework for how these controls should work first. Yeah. So they're a little bit tricky. They're actually pretty dang tricky. So some of the trickinesses with them, if you think about how like a standard Maui control would work, and I think about how like Maui works with, it has the interfaces and like the MVVM controls or the MVU controls, and then those tie to a handler, one-to-one mapping straight to a handler. Now we have this concept of like drawn controls, right? And we want you to be able to swap out how they draw fairly easy without having to commit to like just one style or things like that. So we're gonna need some sort of a graphics control handler, which is gonna deal with mapping everything. Instead of mapping it to native controls, it'll map to drawn controls. And what is a drawn control? I start thinking of like, well, what does it look like? Are we talking how these controls look? Are we talking fluent? Are we talking material? Are we talking like the Cupertino style? Like, are we going to try and build these to look a specific way? And if so, what does that mean? What do we do with that? So I've right now, and I can actually just share my screen. We can kind of walk through kind of what I have, and it's okay. I'm not 100% in love with it. We're going to tweak it today and change it a little bit. But the idea is we would have a graphics control handler, and just like we have a property mapper, we have a draw mapper. Draw mappers are awesome. And then the control state's going to just deal with some of the basic with touches and just getting us into control states. We know how to paint based on what their state is, and just deal with some of the stuff generically for us and drawing the layers and just that type of stuff. It's going to deal with that. Okay. Now, this is where I have some code. It's not bad. And I even already got a pull request on it. Javier's awesome and actually sent in some of the code already, which is pretty awesome. So I have like the buttons, right? So we have the graphics controls. I started on button and I have the view stuff. It's all empty because I didn't totally know how to tie that stuff in. So we have like a button handler, right? It's subclasses from graphics controls. And the slider one, I didn't really even look at his code, but I assumed he did good because it's Javier and he always does good. I'm gonna, yep, he does have like a slide draw mapper. He's missing something. It's not gonna draw. This stuff is wrong, so we need to fix that to make it work, but that's easy to fix. And I am just gonna format so all our code is the same. Do that on each of these files really quick, and we'll commit those before we really start working on them. But so the idea is right now, so we have a Cupertino slider handler, and then we have a material slider and a fluent slider, and these are cool, right? They draw, and I bet they're drawing beautiful code. I can't wait to try it, but I'm pretty sure the drawing code's right, and it's going to look good. But now, if I have a button and I want to switch the style out, as of right now, we don't have a way to switch handlers based on style, which is pretty lame. It's something that I've already brought up with some of the team, and we're going to work on doing that. But for now, working within the constraints, we need to come up with something. And so instead of doing a different handler for each theme, I think I'm going to re-architect this so we just have a button handler for the graphic stuff, right? So graphics button handler. And it is going to, based on the style or the settings, it can switch between how it draws. And you still can have a fluent slider handler if you want to say, hey, this is just a fluent slider handler. It's going to always draw this way. Sure, we can do that. But the base one will have a little bit more flexibility. Also, we didn't show much on the mappers. I may bring this up and we might make the property mappers better after some of the work on the drawing mappers. The drawing mappers, you'll notice, are pretty dang cool because it's all typed, 100% typed. You actually get a Fluent slider handler coming in, which is good or bad. So once I switch this stuff to interfaces, and I'm going to switch those to where they're not the handlers, those are going to take a drawable control. I think it'll be pretty nice. So I think what we're going to do is go something like this with a view drawable. And we're going to do something that mirrors. For now, I'm just going to put it right in here. view drawable. We'll do something like that. And this is going to deal with, like I said, right now, I'm just not a fan of how I had to do some of this stuff. So right now it has this stuff all on here. And this thing's not actually subclassing anything. We don't ever use this. I just don't like how it's kind of pieced together. But what we will be able to do is right now, this has all these things like drawing background, drawing text. There's a lot of things that are really useful on these things. And so what I think I want to do is keep some of this stuff, right? So we'll keep the draw background, but instead what we'll do is this view drawable is going to have this stuff instead of being static. Why are those public static? All right, we're going to have something like this to where the view drawable and instead of this handler, we don't even care about the handler, right? The drawable is itself, which is fine. And so then we'll have like an iView in there. So I think it's going to have something like this. And so we will put this here. And I'm just prototyping this. I don't know if this is exactly what's going to stay, guys. If you guys have opinions, definitely voice it. Explain what you think we should do. You might have a better idea than me. All right, so let me get code formatting right so it's happy. So we'll probably do something like this where I will do public virtual void. I'm going to make it virtual so that way we can override it for the different themes and stuff. All right, so we'll have a base virtual void view, which we will bring this stuff over, right? Actually, we'll just copy that whole method. All right, so now inside of our view drawable, let's close everything else. Close other tabs. Cancel that one. Will that stay? No, it's not. All right, we're just going to close everything else. Close other files, and we'll just bring that guy back because we're still using it. All right, so our default view handler is going to have something like this. And let's see if I can get my code wide enough. Come on, let me shrink you down. All right, so we're gonna do something like that. We'll paste that code in there. And now we have a base draw. I like it. Now our draw mappers right now are tied to the iView handler stuff. We're gonna drop those down to the view drawables because I think that makes more sense because it's what's actually doing the drawing. And at that point, it'll be really easy just to tie these things in. I'm spilling water on myself. And we can make these things really cool. All right, so we're gonna have draw background. We're going to have draw clip shape. I don't know why these are all static. I mean, I know why they're static. I don't know why they're private. And it's not caps. Okay, virtual void. And again, we don't need the handler. It's just gonna be something like that because they will all have clip shapes. Granted, we don't have clip shape support yet, but we'll get there. And that needs to be virtual. And we need to ditch the handler part. All right, so now I want to make sure that we are actually adding these all to the interface as well. And I'm putting text on the root because there's so many different types of controls that need to draw these things that I kind of want to keep it there. It kind of makes sense. Actually, I'm going to go adjust my camera stuff really quick. So you don't need to see my background. Let's go I need to bind this to my Stream Deck, so I don't have to go over and manually do it. There, that's better. All right, so let's throw, we got clip shape. We've got that. That's draw text. I am going to bring that over, like I said, just because I think that's useful. All right, so we'll have that. And it's so nice. Because everything needs to draw text. And it just, yeah. I just think about buttons. I think about, maybe it doesn't belong here. Maybe we'll move it, but for now. All right, and then we also need the draw overlay, which, ooh, not bad. We'll bring that over. And of course, it doesn't need its handler. And we'll just copy this stuff down again, put it here. Now let's make sure, I don't think I subclassed this thing or made it a view drawable. All right. So if we do something like this, we also might want to throw the measurement on there. Where do I have the measurement? Maybe I did that on this control. The reason is measurement can be different based on style. Certain styles enforce specific padding. We're also going to need the draw mapper stuff on there. And then I don't know if it'll need the touches. Maybe it will based on things, because when certain touches happen, the drawing may react, but I don't know. We'll figure that out. I could have sworn something had its size, because I know on the button handler. Oh, okay. Yeah, get desired size. Why, hello, Limitless. How's it going? We'll throw this onto here. All right. Now here. Well, just for now. Virtual size, get size. Oh, it's not going to autofill that out for me. All right, so we'll do that. And for now, we're just going to tell it everything to return like new size. We'll say 100 by 44. You know, decent size. That way, everything will at least show up by default. And we'll override that per control. For text things, it'll override and figure out their own size. All right. So I like the idea of this view drawable. Now that we have that, though, we can now do a fluent view drawable, which will override specific things. Like I said, if we look at our fluent button handler, let me close this. Our fluent button handler, not fluent, our material one forces padding, just does. And so, yeah, what we do is I just add that in. After we measure, I want to throw that in. All right, and then this drawing order stuff we still need to deal with. So I want to talk a little bit through how this drawing order stuff works. So the idea on this is when you set up a handler, so let's go fix our draw mapper stuff now to use that iView handler stuff. So iView drawable. And now this is going to break everything. Everything's going to be broken. Okay, that, and that done. All right. Okay. Let's rename these. Why, hello, Alex. Welcome. How's it going? How's life on the East Coast? All right, so that should clean up this drawable thing. And now this, we're going to rename to no, wrong one. This one. Doing good, doing good. I'm really happy with how we're getting on this drawable stuff. I did not sleep last night. I tried to go to bed, but I worked on this stuff late. Like, I don't know, I worked on this type of stuff from like, I don't know, 6 o'clock to like 11 o'clock, just the initial me prototyping it. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to bed at 11 o'clock. No, it was 1 a.m. My mind would not stop working. Okay, that looks good. This, all right, this is new iView handler. iView drawable. All right. Yeah. How's progress on Comet and Maui and Vue stuff? Really good. Comet is pretty far along. There's a lot of stuff that I've got working really nice on Comet. The stuff we're doing today is actually using Comet just because the hot reload and all that stuff works really good in Comet. And it makes, yeah, once I get going on this, we'll start hot reloading things. And it's really, really, really nice. So yeah, it's going really good. There's still some things I need to work out. I still need to figure out a few things. We don't have animation in this, and I thought long and hard on how some animation stuff can work. I love Comet's animation, and I think I figured out, again, I couldn't sleep last night. This is all I did was think about this stuff. I think I have an idea on how to bring some of the Comet animation stuff into Core, so where we can have a nicer API if you choose to opt into for the MVVM stuff as well. So you can do just a nicer, and it'll make it to where we can then animate these things super easy. So yeah, Comet's doing good. Once we get some of these controls going, then I'll start moving back to Comet stuff, and I'll probably switch to animation pretty early on, just because I'm going to want these controls to animate, not just snap, snap to what they're doing. So we'll probably work on some Comet animation, try and make that. So Maui MVU will not ship as stable for Net 6. That's not the plan. It's going to stay marked as experimental, and I want to keep it that way because there's still C# language changes I'm waiting for to make it nicer and to make some things nicer. So, yes. Wait a minute. There's something wrong with this. Why is that even there? Okay, sorry. Just cleaning up dead code. So yes, it'll get nicer. And if the moment we ship something as stable, that API is stuck. That's just how Microsoft does it. And I don't want this API being stuck yet. I really don't, which is good and bad because you can build stuff with it. And I promise I will have Comet up to date with all the Maui handlers and everything Maui has to offer on day one. But I want to be able to change the API. So one of the things that I want to do right now, we can just, let's just jump over to code. All right. So if we go to a sample, couple C# language changes I really, really want, and then I'm pushing for, we have some proposals for. Well, there's still proposals being put in. So there's nothing that's guaranteed to happen, but there's a lot of things I want. For one, new needs to go die. It just needs to be gone. There's no reason for it, okay? The new keyword we want to ditch. A couple things just to make this whole syntax cleaner, right? So let's just say I have text, right? Or I'm trying to think of, this is harder to do. Let's just think of a .NET class we have. What's a .NET class? The idea is there's a couple of changes I want. One's going to be around this whole body thing. Another one I really, really want, though, is let's say we have a property, and we know the property is a view, right? Equals our view, my view. If you do equals, I should just be able to do parentheses and start filling out properties on it instantly, right there. I should be able to say, like, the view's property is this. I was trying to think of another .NET class that this makes sense to try doing this. We have the song model in here, right? Yeah, song. So song. And our song class has properties on it, right? Artist, title, blah, blah, blah. Right now, I have to do new song, and then I can do artist equals foo, right? But I should be able to just do that syntax. That should work. We know what it is. We know what we're trying to do. So that's one of the things I want to push for, just to make this stuff a lot cleaner. And you still, if you like your new, you can still do it. We already allow you to do this, but like, why make me do new in parentheses? Let's just kill it. All right. So that's one thing I want. Yeah, but I mean, I know there's some things that we can do to work around some of the syntax now, but I still want it nicer. Okay, so that's one thing I want. The other thing is I hate how the body works. I hate that there has to be an attribute. The reason that there's the attribute and the reason all this stuff works is on view has a public func like this, right? So public func view, and it's called body, right? But now because it's using body, I can't reuse body anywhere else. But what if I could do something like this, right? So now let's do a new class just to show this off a little bit. So public class comment view. Granted, it's not named comment view. We all know that it'll be named view. But now on here, we'll do public func view body, right? You can do this whole thing, right? We can put a get set on it. And now I can do the property initializer stuff to it where I say equals, right? And I can say new text, right? And I can return a text. That's valid C# syntax. Okay. Now, oops, I'm missing a semicolon. Now, if I wanted to do public class my view, comment view, I want to be able to do body equals so since we can do this property initializer stuff on a view, I want to be able to do that on subclasses as well, right? That looks nice. Of course, it's saying that's not valid and that's all crazy. So that's one thing I want. Now, on top of that, there's a bug with this syntax. Horrible, horrible bug with this syntax. I have no idea why my dog's barking. I'm going to close my door. One sec. All right. So with this syntax, I can't do this, but I should be able to. It's saying that that's not a constant value or static or non-static, so I can't use it. The thing is, though, I just set this. It's a callback, right? This is saying, oh, this all has to be compiled and the value has to be valid at like initialization time, but it's wrong because since this is a callback, this should work. So I want this to work and then mix that with this, and that's going to be beautiful syntax. And then I can ditch this whole body thing, and there's a lot of things I can clean up if I do that. But yes, that's totally all broken right now. Also some things just around list initializations, just to make lists nicer. Some things there. So there's some C# changes, which will definitely make this API nicer. But this is the biggest one that will clean up the API because that's the code I want you to write. And to be honest, if we were doing a new text, we would still need to say text. But I want to even ditch the new, and I want something like that. Yes, I could have it be a virtual method. There's a couple different issues with it being that. So right now, let's look at this code. So right now, I need to be able to call something to get the body, right? So I could, and we'll leave this class here, I could make it a virtual method, right? And I can make that thing virtual. And I can do public virtual view get body, right? Now this will return, for now I'll just say body. And that's really what the syntax would be. It'd say, oh, if there's no body, return itself, because like a text is going to return itself as the text. Okay, but what we'll do is we're just going to say body invoke for now. Done. All right. Now that's fine, right? And I could even ditch that body thing. But the thing is, I want the nice, pretty syntax where if I just do, if I'm doing this here, if I say, let's just do public my view. So I say body equals, I want to be able to do something like this. I want you to be able to say new VStack, right? And then new view body equals right there in line. If we do it as virtual and it's not a func, we can't do this nice syntax as well. I kind of want my cake and I want to eat it too. I want both. And you might be like, well, why would this view need a body? Well, it could be because you're going to say, I'm going to swap things out on here based on state. And I want this thing to be super, super efficient. Why is this complaining? Dun, dun. That works with VStack. I don't know what it's saying about. If I do, yeah, now it's like, that's not a view. But I'm really confused what. Dun, dun, dun. The initialization type view. VStack takes a view. It's an IEnumerable, abstract layouts, and they take views on view added. That's really weird. Needs to be changed to an iView. I haven't done that work yet. But I want to be able to do this syntax here. And I do this regularly. Yeah, it's done. So I want new view. Oh, that's why. Invalid syntax. All right. Can input VStack to, again, I didn't do it right there. So I want you to be able to do that, but then if I do it as a virtual and we ditch this body, you're going to always have to override that thing. You're not going to be able to just like, oh, I'm going to new this thing up and just set it. I just like that syntax better. I mean, I could easily just say override body, get body. But now I always have to subclass to do something that's going to swap out its content. I don't know. I just think it's ugly, personally. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm being too picky here. But I think it's ugly. I don't know your thoughts. Maybe everyone's okay with this, but I really want to push for better. And if I have both, where I have ones like, hey, get body versus, and you can override it and just return it, that's fine. But now what if you set this body and then you say return which body should you get, right? I set it here, but I overrode here. I would say you'd get this one, but it's just, yeah. I just don't like having two ways of doing something. And I want to have the pretty syntax. So, and I did it like this, so that way you don't have to have a constructor, because once you start getting all these constructors and inside of each constructor, then you get the initialization code. It just gets ugly as well. So if you have multiple constructors, it's just like, what do you do? What do you do? So that's why I want this code change. And then I can just do this. And then I'll be happy. You can do it either way, and everyone's happy. So, but we need C# code changes for that. And I think that looks so much better. And again, like I said, I need this fixed so I can then, it's a callback. This will be initialized by then. It's guaranteed. So it doesn't matter. All right. So those are the C# language changes, just some of the ones right off the top of my head that in the process of getting proposals in so those can get done. So we need those. We need those. I think we need those. All right. So where were we? We were looking at view drawable. So we're at this whole view drawable thing and an iDrawable, which will have those interfaces to draw all that stuff. And you can have that. We will then add in, and I'm trying to think if we need anything fancy on the Fluent stuff. The Fluent stuff, right now, the way I do things in Comet, which we might bring over inside of styles for material, it has the color palette, which I really like how this thing works. So with the material style, it automatically fills out a style for you. So you can say, hey, I want a material style with this color. And now it auto fills out how this thing can draw, which is really nice. So all the different colors. And right now I only do, I don't know, do I only do light theme or do I only do dark theme? I think I only do, I don't know. I always only do the default. I went through and followed their design guide to build this stupid thing. It was a pain in the butt, but it worked. And it works based off styles, which is really nice. All right. So something like that is probably going to be brought into effect. So like, oh, what style are we? Here's how to get those colors for that color scheme. Don't know if I'm ready for that yet. But so on the view drawable, we have that, some basic stuff. Now what we need to do is in this handler, this graphics control. Now instead of doing a T handler where T is a graphics handler, I want to now change this to where it is I view drawable. Is that right? I think that's right. No. Oh, I did draw mapper. It's not the, it's drawable, and it shouldn't be drawable. It should be I view drawable. There we go. I know how to do that. All right, so now let's just fix this stuff. All right, so now our mapper, draw mapper is better for that. And we'll say, hey, we've got a drawable, and it'll type these puppies. So then our draw mapper will get a lot simpler. So our view draw mapper, we can go here, and this is I view drawable. All right, so now all of these, it's like, they're all wrong. Yes, they are. So what we're actually going to do is just delete them all. They're all, most of them are wrong anyway. Oh, did I kill invalidate? I want to keep invalidate. Oh, that goes to the handler. Oh, but map comes from, the invalidate's fine. That's fine. That's not a drawing thing. That's a property change. All right, so now what we'll do in the draw mapper all right, so okay, canvas, rectangle, drawable, and view. All right, now here we can just say drawable dot draw clip. Canvas, dirty, rect, view. And actually it's just rect. All right, I like it. I like it. So now our mappers are very basic. They're just going to call into the drawable, the current drawable, and do its thing. So we're going to need to, yeah, we're getting somewhere. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing here and draw background. I am just gonna steal everything after this. Oop, can't spell public. All right, I don't have Keycaster on. All right, so now, hey, it actually remembered where to put it. That looks good. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing with border again. And we don't have a draw border yet. Let's go at it. So we did that under view drawable. Which we don't have shape support yet. So the draw border and the clip shape stuff will come back when we actually have that stuff. How's my audio? I didn't even ask. I should have. I keep seeing it peaking a little bit, hoping it's not too bad. If there's issues, let me know. I'll adjust it. All right, view drawable. So we've got that there. Now inside this, no, that was in the view handler. All right. Draw border. I like how these just directly map. I actually like that a lot. All right, so now draw text. All right, and we'll do overlay. Oops. Oh, wrong one. All right, why is this complaining? Let me undo something because something's really angry. Yeah, what's that complaining about? Oh, that makes things happier. All right, so now we've got the draw stuff all set up for the defaults. And by default, when this stuff changes, that's done, that's looking good. All right. Also, the drawable should be able to return what layers it draws because they may have additional layers. So the way this thing works is, right, it's a little similar to the property mapper. So with the property mappers, you say, hey, when this property fires, go do this, right? And then you do the same thing, and I should make these all name ofs, but we do the same thing with that, and it goes and draws that method. The big difference is there's a default layer drawing order. This will tell it which layers to draw, because that matters. And so you can invalidate just a specific layer. Really, we don't do that. Maybe eventually we will. But the idea is, if we look at the draw handler, it has a draw method. Sets up the state, gets the draw layer order, sets up padding, then it draws stuff. Now, right now it's saying mapper.draw layer and it passes this in. That's wrong because we need to ask this thing for its draw viewer thingy. And tview handler, let's rename this, rename t. Yeah, is that right? I think it's tview drawable. All right, so now on here, that sets up the mapper stuff, so we get those typed right. We need something on here that says, hey, what is your drawable? So for now, public virtual t I should probably cache this thing so we're not creating it over and over again. All right, and then we'll do protected. And what we'll do is we'll do drawable. Protected. I wonder if that'll work. So that way each one is forced to create that drawable. And then here, boom, drawable. That should compile. I don't know what else is broken, but at least some of that will compile now. So we've got some of the drawable stuff working, so it'll now draw through those mappers. Whew. All right, let's get going on this a little bit more. I want to get one of these buttons working and actually hooked in. I actually want to see it working. And then we'll deal with switching styles. You know, I should probably... What if instead of doing that... I don't like that. I don't like what I just did. I want to be able to change that. And I can't. Because what if you change the style ID? I mean, you won't do that in real life, but you'll do that in our sample because it's the easiest way to test these things. Let's just do it. Oh. All right. There we go. That I'm okay with, because now we can reset that. And we can create one if no one did. All right. Then we can null it out if the style changes. And then invalidate and redraw, and it'll recreate the right drawable. I like it. All right. This thing is now a hot mess. We also had this interface, which I don't know what I need on it anymore. So this had the draw mapper, which the draw mapper... I'm wondering if the draw... Yeah, the draw mapper will do that. We'll be fine there. I wonder if the drawable even needs any of that. We're not going to put it on the drawable for now. All right. We're going to keep that how it is. All right, so we've got that. And the graphics control is one of these, right? Yes. Wait, what's graphics control? That's the right one, right? Yes. What's this guy? Do I use this anywhere? I don't think I use it anywhere. I was just trying to figure crap out yesterday. We're going to delete it. I said I was working on this late. So there's going to be some bad stuff in here. All right, so we've got that. This thing's, let's just delete dead code. We'll bring it back if I need it. But I got too much stuff in here. All right, so that's everything we need for that. Now let's go fix a button. All right, and it's like, no, in this case, it's going, we need to add in view, what do we call that? View drawable. We'll just call it drawable. Let's go check out, let's go bring this into its own class. So we're gonna add this puppy in here. And let's just go grab it. And I was doing these in a namespace. What namespace was that? Let's put these all in that namespace. Didn't I put it in the namespace? I did not yet. And that's gonna need a lot of using statements. I'm just gonna build so it'll stop freaking out at me and then give me some IntelliSense. Come on, you can build. All right, I'm gonna close a bunch of stuff now. So we're gonna have our button drawable. Our iButton drawable is at public. I don't know if it's adding anything. It has the text. That's the beautiful thing about that, having the text on the root. Actually, we can leave it where it's, yeah. I didn't change the name of it. Oh, but it doesn't have any. That'll fix the build on that part. All right, we're getting somewhere. So we have our view drawables. Our button is going to change. And this button fluent handler, you are now going to be a... Do I do a fluent one? View drawable. I don't think that's going to add anything. Oops. I know how to use commas. Now I don't need any of that. Now this is all generated code from when I was doing the Skia stuff from Figma to Skia Sharp that I just brought over. So let's just do override draw background. Oops. That looks good. That wasn't hard to fix. All right, so here we'll just say view. All right, actually, this view isn't going to be typed. We're gonna wanna type this crap. So that's a reason not to have the text there. But I'm going to anyway. I might move the text, but I just don't want to redo the text. I mean, we can do extension methods. All right. Or we can have the view mapper, view drawable. Now let's just rename. All right, that's gonna break some stuff, but then it'll just be fine. Ah, come on, I typed that right. All right, so we've got that. Now, on this, we kind of need this fluent. All right, so what if we do, because this stuff all passes that in. I'm not liking this, it's falling apart already. So what we need to do is get desired size needs to pass that thing in. I don't like that it's not typed at that point. But I don't like the idea of the raw interface also being like a, All right, so let's look at our button. Does this not have... What's this complaining about now? View handler wants that thing to be a view handler. My whole architecture is falling apart. Yes, it is quickly falling apart. No, that's fine. That's fine. All right. Oh, the standard one, which, okay. T-view drawable. That should be fine. What's it complaining about? It is. The interface was bad. We're going to just move that into here for now. Let's build again. That should fix a few errors. Get the interface wrong and then it freaks out. Crazy. Build. Yeah, I'm just trying to think through this. This is a little tricky. So I want the handler is going to create a drawable. And it's going to tell it to draw the individual layers and pass in the typed view. The question is, where'd get desired size go? In graphics, something's weird. Let me go look at source control. Let's look at my CS proj. Let's see what that does. We'll figure it out. All right, so while that's going, we're going to then have the button handler is going to create, yeah, why is it complaining? Yeah, hopefully that reset I just did will fix that. Then instead of having a fluent button handler, we're going to move all of this into a view drawable, which I started. And then we'll do the same thing for the material one. And then we'll go try and get this working, and then we'll do slider. It does have invalidate. Oh, I changed namespaces. And I didn't do it everywhere. That's going to make it a lot happier. Partial classes, when you change namespaces on one of the partial classes, they're all angry. Okay, let's see what that does. Also, on other news, we tried Spotify out in my family for a couple months, and it turns out my wife hates it. Just loathes Spotify. And she really misses Google Music. And now it's YouTube Music, which is okay. But because of that, we're probably going to stick with YouTube Music. And I get to spend some time and I'll probably try and get G Music working on YouTube Music. Might even rewrite it in Comet. All the way. So that'll be fun. So at some point in the future, I'll work on updating all that stuff, and maybe we're starting over in Comet as Maui gets farther along, so I have enough controls to do it. All right, that's building a lot better. It's complaining less. All right. 36 errors. I can do that. All right, so this is no longer a button handler. It's going to be and do I want just to create a generic button? No, I don't. I don't. All right, so now that's good. That's good. On this, we did have the get desired size, right? So now in here, now these are not going to have a virtual view. That's the thing that I'm missing now, is this is not going to be tight. So I wonder if for this view handler, view drawable, I do a typed one. That might make this a little bit easier. No, but that's still not going to have the view. Because I could assign the view. We could just do that. And then all these draw calls don't need that passed in. What do you guys think? If we did that. Then I wish this would just do this right. Come on. Why throw not implemented? That could work. Now, if I do this right, I can do and we'll just need to do where t virtual view. Right, so now if we do that, now, if I do that, I can do default interface implement. If we do that, that will let us on these buttons do some really interesting things. All right, so now if I go to I button, now our fluent one well, why isn't it getting... No, might not. I need to compile first. I bet that's what it is. IntelliSense just hasn't caught up. Now I'm going to need to change how I use these. When I create, what I'll do here is what I'll just do is do don't love that, but all right. Let's comment out the slider stuff for now. We'll come back to it. I just want to minimize, get this right on button, and then we'll move to slider. All right. Did button compile though? No way. I didn't do the create view on that yet. And yeah, that is yelling. I didn't do material yet. That's wrong. All right, now we're getting somewhere. What? Target runtime? Which target runtime doesn't Which one? Which runtime doesn't? Why? Why? I liked it. I liked it. I wonder which runtime it is. Can't have nice things. All right, so let's just go to the graphics. Didn't I? No, view drawable. Let's do that. All right, and now we'll go make button